perform an arrangement or either your compositions now, I guess, do you have to kind of switch hats when you go from being the composer or arranger to the performer?
Yeah, it's very different. But of course, I always arrange with performance in mind. So I'd say the difference for me feels more distinct in the arena of composing. When you're creating original music, I feel like the process of composing is so distinct and so different than anything else I've done that it really stands apart. And then and it stands apart not just from other activities, but it stands apart from performing. So I'd say in some ways that's a little bit more so the case in that way. But for arranging, because it's all it is about finding a way to play it. The performing of it is really just the final stage of the process. So, but it's wonderful because in a concert, if you play music written by these great composers, it's very noticeable. The difference is really you can feel it in every way. The music has gravity. The music has substance, and that's not always the case with our repertoire. I mean, some of it is, of course, superb, but this just is really special to be able to play that music. Did I respond to that?
Yeah, I think so. I'd like to talk about your compositions a little bit. Specifically, you just gave a concert a couple nights ago where you played all your own music. Is that something that you plan on continuing doing?
Well, it's a little bit of an experiment. I think the sensible thing is to mix my own music in with other compositions. But I had a creative spurt last year and found myself with about 90 minutes of original music. So I wanted to try to get it out and play it and see how it works. I think in the long run it'll be more a mixture, but it's really a wonderful adventure to write and play your own music. For me, I'm relatively new at this, so I find it to be, it just sort of takes all my energy and all my attention and all my awareness to do this in any convincing way. And one is really not sure, I think, how much you've succeeded until it's been out on stage and you've tried to interact with audiences with the music. It's hard to tell. I think as time passes, I may get better at assessing my own music, but I find the process incredibly invigorating and really tweaks my creative juices. I think it's really the same impulse. The impulse being to find repertoire which is engaging to me personally, which is different from what I hear day to day as a teacher and different from what I hear my colleagues playing. I just want sort of my own music, and this was maybe the natural next step after doing so many years of arranging, is to just start with a blank sheet of paper and create it from the ground up. And I must say I enjoy doing it, but I'm not sure where it will lead. It's kind of new. So.
Do you think all your arranging and all the works that you've performed before have influenced your composition?
There's absolutely no question that the way I'm writing music now is influenced very, very sharply by the experience of having played great composers' music, particularly that piano music, because you're very sort of in tune with the formal structure of the music, the developmental methods, the motivic development, the kind of the formal, the way the composer uses material and transitions from sections, introductions and codas. There are so many different elements to the music that become evident when you're arranging and studying music, that when you compose, you're confronted with the question: do you want to use a form that in some way echoes those existing established forms, or do you want to try to create a new form? And of course, there are a lot of ways of approaching this, but for my purposes at this time, I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel, so to speak, but to come up with more my own language within existing structures in some sense. And I have no problem with being relatively conservative in my approach, but there's no question that the shapes and the sort of the forms of the pieces are influenced by the pieces I've played by these major composers. Now, not specifically, like it's not as if I had a model and sort of superimposed my own notes over an existing structure, but it's more sort of a general sense of how to approach shaping a piece.
Do you have any tips for guitarists?
I think for students, it's often a struggle to find the large picture of musical expression and why we're in this in the first place, because we get a little bit caught up in the athleticism of playing the instrument, because it's so difficult to play the instrument well. There's so many technical challenges to overcome that it can take years and years and years. And when you've spent years and years working on all those technical activities, then to switch gears and turn to try to develop your artistry can be a change of course, which many young players never seem to be able to make. And so ideally, work on your original voice and your artistry from the very beginning. Never play a piece without looking for something original to say with it. What does it mean to you? Don't play it the way it sounds on the record. Don't play it the way someone else plays it. And if all you can think of to do is to play it faster, well, okay, faster's good sometimes, but there are lots of ways of interpreting music, and always look for an interpretation. If the music is about hitting the notes, then I think it's about the wrong things. So I would say look into your heart for why you like to do this, and look for the beauty of the sound of the instrument, which to me is why most people are drawn to classical guitar. It just sounds so beautiful. And try to play music with honesty. That's what it's about, it seems to me.
Do you have any upcoming projects that you're working on now?
I'm in the middle of my upcoming project with my new music. That's kind of absorbing my attention right now. I'll be preparing some of the pieces for publication. But I have no particular new new projects on the docket right now. Just performances and new engagements. But I think the process of determining whether or not the new pieces work, whether or not they are worth pursuing, is so exciting and so engaging that it's going to hold my attention for a little while. And I'm in no particular hurry to go past it to something else. But it's an exciting development, and for me, it's the natural next thing to do. So.